All right, welcome to the Sports Mashup number 25. August 18th is the date of today's edition as we get right into the NBA as we start. And they have finally released the schedule. The season will begin on Tuesday, October 19th. Couple of decent matchups if the teams are healthy. Nets and Bucks will play, and then Warriors, Lakers. I think that those are fine matchups to start. Then the day after, you have Celtics, Knicks, and Nuggets, Suns on ESPN. Then TNT continues Mavs, Hawks, Clippers, Warriors, and then the Friday is Nets, Sixers, and Suns, Lakers on ESPN. So, typical teams in there. I think the Suns getting back into the mix is significant. I think the Knicks as well, and the Nets are obviously going to be a team that is getting national coverage with the players that they have, but nothing that really stands out to me for the first 4 days.
No, I mean that first one should be decent.
I'm looking forward to watching the Warriors with Klay Thompson back. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean those first two games are pretty decent matchups. What could end up being divisional finals
I would think so.
or conference finals.
I would think so. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's
I'm just
all
saying
about.
those are ones that could.
Yeah, definitely. I would guarantee that one of the two teams in each matchup will be in the conference finals.
And to see the Bucks Nets play with everyone healthy.
Yeah, assuming that nobody pulls something in preseason or training camp, which could 100% happen for one of the Nets players, but we'll see. Christmas Day games, obviously you always open up Knicks Hawks. That'll be a good matchup. Celtics Bucks at 2:30 Eastern. Warriors Suns at 5 Eastern. Nets Lakers at 8 Eastern, and then Mavericks and Jazz at 10:30 Eastern. Now I'm a bit surprised the Jazz aren't getting one of the primetime games in the first 4 days of the season. That kind of surprised me a little bit. But the Christmas games, I think they're good matchups. I am happy to see the Suns actually getting back on Christmas Day and being relevant enough to be in that game. But
Yeah, and I'm guessing the Mavs are in it just because of Luka.
yeah, I don't really know. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't like Clippers Jazz. I think that probably would have been the matchup that I would have guessed. But Luka is a superstar.
I also think that some of the teams have had repeated. I think the Clippers have been in the last couple Christmas, so maybe it was they were like, we're just gonna put you out of this one.
Well, Kawhi's not going to be healthy enough to be on the floor by then, so that's also got to be a factor.
No, and speaking of him, he just signed a 4-year, $106.3 million max deal.
I think everybody knew that he was going to stay there, and I didn't see him going anywhere else, so it makes a lot of sense.
No, I mean all these deals they stayed. Jimmy Butler 4 years, 184 million to the Heat. Embiid stays with the Sixers 4 years, 196 million.
A lot of money.
And then Pistons signed Luka Garza to a 2-way deal.
Yeah, I'm looking at the All Summer League teams here, and the All Summer League first team is Jalen Johnson with the Hawks, your boy from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Davion Mitchell, Baylor, Kings. Trey Murphy of the Pelicans, I believe he went to Virginia. Peyton Pritchard, second year with the Celtics from Oregon. Jalen Smith with the Suns, Maryland. Then Cam Thomas with the Nets, LSU, and then Obi Toppin, Dayton, New York Knicks. And then the All-Summer League. Yeah, All-Summer League second team, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, the number 1, number 2 picks. Luka Garza, who we just spoke of, signing a 2-way deal with the Pistons. And Paul Reed, Sixers, not sure I've heard of him. Patrick Williams, his second year with the Bulls. So there's your All-Summer League teams. I believe the Kings won the Summer League, I think. Not 100% sure.
I think so.
Yeah, they did. All right. That's enough Summer League talk.
And then lastly, the legend, Larry Bird, on this date retired in 1992.
An absolute legend, 100%.
And another legend, last night found out, guys listen to all of our podcasts, and who said he'd be listening today, Mr. Andy Wiseman.
That's a shout out.
No free shout outs, but free shout out.
We'll throw one out there, give him a pop. Let's go to the NFL. The below average corner for below average corner trade happened. The Packers traded Josh Jackson for Isaac Yiadom of the Giants, two 25-year-old below average corners. So, as a Packer fan myself, I'm good with this. Josh Jackson, let's be honest, terrible. He's not been good. Isaac Yiadom, or however the hell you say his name, he's been with the Broncos and the Giants, hasn't been good. So the fact that the Packers were able to get anything in return for Josh Jackson is shocking to me. So I'll take that when I can get it. And
the only defense I guess I could say for the Isaac is he played for two. At least Denver was supposed to have a good defense, but they had a lot of injuries. So I'm sure he was rushed in. And then the Giants, the defense was on the field the entire year last year.
That's true. I mean, in terms of what he's going to do with the Packers, I don't even know. I think that he'll be like a 4 or 5. He's not going to be on the field very much unless there's injuries, unless he really impresses them, which I doubt the fact that it's a 1-for-1 deal. So we'll see.
Packers also make another transaction? They brought in a quarterback?
Yeah, they brought in Jake Dolgala, who they had in camp for a while. Then they released him. Then I think he went to like New England. Then he got released by them and then back to the Packers. And they're doing that because I would assume Jordan Love is not going to be able to play in the preseason game this weekend because he had like a shoulder strain of some sort. But I mean, that's just throwing a guy out there to have another guy, another quarterback, because they'll only have one if Love's not available. So
yeah,
he'll be gone.
It's Kurt, right?
Binnickert,
the Falcons.
Yeah. Kurt Benkert or Binnickert, however the hell you say his name. Yeah, he'll be the starter, I'm assuming. So we'll see.
Let's see. The Steelers acquired, I think it was Joe Schobert.
Yeah, he's
Brown from the Jags.
Pretty good linebacker. I like the move a lot for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, that ups their linebacker core. And I'm pretty sure he's a middle linebacker.
Yeah, and Urban Meyer's just kind of getting rid of some people that were around in the previous regime. So
well, he wasn't though. He just came from the Browns. He was only there for I think a year.
Yeah, still technically a part of the previous regime playing last year. So,
and then big news down in New Orleans: vaccination cards or negative test results are needed to get into the Saints games.
I think almost every team is going to do this. I already know that there's NHL teams that are doing this. So, I mean, I think you kind of have to, right? I think it'd be a bad look if you didn't, but yeah.
I don't know. I was at the state fair last night. No one in, barely, there might have been 2% of people there in mass. Didn't need your vaccination card or your proof of negative tests, like they had first said.
I don't think the state fair is as big of an event as an NFL game, but
I mean, there's a lot of close contact there.
Yeah, I think a lot of
food handling.
A lot of people are doing kind of like the honor system, like in grocery stores and stuff. It says you don't have to wear one if you're vaccinated, but they don't check you. So,
well, I'd heard that even they were testing people there. There was 3 positive tests. They asked the health department if they sent them home, and they said they didn't ask them to. They recommended they did.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's not surprising, though. I think the Saints are doing what most teams are going to do.
And then speaking of that, too, the Falcons are the first team to be 100% vaccinated.
Yeah, that's an impressive thing to do with how many guys you have to get vaccinated in that entire group. And I think a lot of teams will be 100% or close to it by the time the season starts. So Falcons getting ahead of it. They're not going to have a good season, so might as well be number one in something.
Yeah, I could see them finishing third.
7-10, 6-11.
And then big news in Seattle: Jamal Adams signs a 4-year extension, $38 million guaranteed, could be up to $72 million with incentives.
I looked at this contract and I said, that's it. I mean, some of these contracts have warped me, like NBA contracts especially, warped me into thinking 4 years and $72 million is not a lot. It is. He's the highest paid safety, but,
He said it's because his mom told him to.
That's smart. You got to take the money, and it's a good move. And I saw a cute post by Good Morning Football America saying, or Good Morning Football, whatever the hell that show is called on NFL Network. It said, "Would you take Russell Wilson and Jamal Adams or Aaron Rodgers and Jair Alexander?" And my response was, "It's not even close. Like, come on. Jamal Adams is a good safety, fine. Russell Wilson's a good quarterback, fine. We're talking two of the top three players of their position in the league versus two top 10 guys, I would say. So, weird post, kind of weird because it's not close. I make a different comparison. It's a little disrespectful, but just my thoughts.
Yeah, but when I was like, the difference is like 24 million in incentives, and I'm sure it's all based off of tackles. I don't know what even else.
Yeah, I mean,
games played,
all pro, Pro Bowl.
yeah. And then sad news in Jacksonville, they released tight end Tim Tebow.
He's bad, really bad.
And then the Niners released Josh Rosen after struggling in camp.
Yeah, Rosen, one of the big busts in recent past, and I don't really think it's all his fault. I think this is a situation where you don't blame the fact that he's been this big of a bust on him solely because he gets drafted to the Cardinals and then traded 1 year later so they can draft Kyler Murray after firing the coach and bringing in a new coach. I don't know what he's supposed to do about that. So the whole thing, I mean.
No, and then he went to Miami to be the backup.
Yeah, there's a big difference between him and like Trubisky. Like Trubisky played a lot and wasn't good. Rosen kind of got screwed.
Yeah, and I think he was in two different coach regimes in Miami.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I mean, that whole situation, he got screwed, but also he didn't play well when he got the chance. So it goes both ways, but it's a different situation than most guys that are busts.
And then this one really hurts. The Lions cut long snapper Dan Molback after 17 years with the Lions on his 40th birthday.
Well, I don't think the Lions really care anymore with MCDC at the helm. They're a tough, gritty franchise now, and they're going to win about 2 games, and they don't care about their long snapper. A bit mean to do this for sure.
Yeah, hey, you've been here for 17 years. You've been loyal to the franchise. Hey, we're going to drop you on your birthday.
He's getting old, though, so you can't blame him that much for doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, a long snapper, he's on the field, maybe 8 plays? Or I guess not counting field goals and stuff.
Yeah, he's not out there very much.
So
this might be the only NFL player in history that I've never heard of before that's been around this long. I mean, Jesus, I've never heard of this guy.
With the same team.
Yeah, he's been there for 17 years. I've never heard him once. And that means 17 years the Packers have played the Lions 34 times, and I've never heard of this guy.
But, I mean, how often do the announcers talk about the long snapper?
I mean, you'd think you'd hear it once 34 times. I probably haven't watched all the games because I was 4 years old when he was there, but, watched most of them.
And then on to a little fantasy football talk. PPR versus non-PPR. We just had our draft Sunday. We just switched, went from 2 divisions to no divisions, went from non-PPR to half-point PPR.
Well, the way that most PPR leagues are set up are to really value the running back and receiver position, which fantasy is a lot of that anyway, but especially now.
Yeah, I mean, normally in the non-PPR, you get a thrown touchdown. The quarterback only gets 4 points and 1 point for every 25 yards thrown, but the receiver gets 6 points and 1 point for every 10 yards. So, I mean, the quarterback should never be the highest scorer on your team.
Yeah, I think that drafting a quarterback is something that you'd want to do in like the 5th round or later at this point.
Well, I drafted mine in the 5th. Let's go. I'll tell you my draft.
I'll grade your draft for you.
Well,
Really let you know if you're gonna win.
NFL did me dirty on my grade. They said I had a C. I was going to finish 1-11.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Or wait, not 1-11. Yeah. Where is that? Yeah, C 1-13, projected finish 11th. So I had the 9th pick in a snake draft,
Okay.
or the 8th pick. I took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Then I took DeAndre Hopkins,
Okay.
Josh Jacobs, Chris Godwin, Aaron Rodgers,
Beautiful pick there. One of your best.
Jamar Chase,
He's gonna get a lot of reps.
Robert Tonyan.
He's gonna score a lot of touchdowns probably.
I went early here with this pick, but I took Harrison Butker.
I mean, that's a valuable kicker on a team that's going to be in field goal range or scoring a lot of touchdowns.
And I
So,
mean,
and he makes everything.
In our league, if it's over 50, it's worth 5.
Yeah,
Anything 39 and under is worth 3.
that's one of the only kickers you can justify taking that early.
Him and Tucker,
Yeah,
because Tucker gets a lot of the deep balls.
yeah.
And then I took the Niners defense.
If they're healthy, they're going to be one of the best.
Then I took Zach Moss, running back from Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
No, but they don't know who's going to be a starter there, if it's going to be him or Devin Singletary.
Probably a little bit of both.
And then I took another tight end for backup. I took Jonnu Smith. Then I took Jamal Williams. Then a little T.Y. Hilton.
That's late to get him. I guess everyone's worried about healthy and who's going to be throwing to him and the whole thing.
Round 14, I took Jameson Crowder, a guy that if he ends up getting the slot position, should get a lot of touches.
I would think so. Not a lot of weapons there, high-end ones at least.
And then last pick, I got Boston Scott, second string back for the Eagles behind Miles Sanders.
So I think where they didn't love your team was probably your receiving core.
Which I don't know how DeAndre Hopkins, Chris Godwin, Jamar Chase.
I think the thing that they'll look at is as good as Hopkins and Godwin are, they have a ton of other weapons around them that are very good as well.
You're right. But in this thing, in the draft summary, it says, we'll be aiming to prove the doubters wrong after garnering an 11th place projection. With their first 5 picks, they followed a balanced approach, adding a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. By the end of the draft, they landed a foursome of running backs with plenty of room to grow.
I mean,
But I have 5 running backs.
Who are your 5 running backs again?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, Zach Moss, Jamal Williams, and Boston Scott. 2 second stringers and 3 starters.
Yeah, I think they're worried about the other 3 after Jacobs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
But also, there's been like rumblings that Kenyon Drake's going to steal the job from Josh Jacobs in Oakland.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
2 picks after I picked Helaire, so the 10th pick overall, it was the pick after me. Someone took Travis Kelce in the first round.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the pick after that was Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those grades or whatever are pretty generic. I don't really think that they're going to be that accurate. Because I don't think a team with Rodgers is, as long as he's as good as he was last year or close to it, he's going to put up a lot of points each week. And then if Tonyan is healthy all year, he'll score 10 touchdowns. Hopkins will get numbers.
No, and then me getting Jonnu Smith as Hunter Henry's hurt right now, so
yeah, he'll get a lot of touches because you're going to need with quarterbacks the quarterback system and players on the depth chart for New England right now, equal tight ends are going to need to be used. Like Mac Jones, if he gets to play, he's going to need to use the tight ends. If Cam Newton, if his arm still works, he's going to need to use the tight ends. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Trevor Lawrence went undrafted.
Did Fields get drafted?
Yeah,
Really? How is that possible?
Bears fan.
Yeah, I guess that's the
He
only.
took him either in like the 14th or 15th round.
I would rather have a quarterback who's going to play the entire season like Trevor Lawrence.
Personally. I think Javonte Williams from the Broncos was taken before Melvin Gordon was. Someone, Austin Eckler was already picked, and someone tried drafting the fourth string running back for the Chargers over Justin Jackson and Joshua Kelly.
Interesting approach.
No one took any of the other backups for Kansas City.
Who are the top 3 picks?
And it went McCaffrey, Henry, Kamara, I believe.
Where did Aaron Jones go? Do you know?
Yeah, I think the pick before me, because if not, he was coming to me.
I'm surprised someone took Henry second.
So it went McCaffrey, Henry, Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Zeke, Aaron Jones, Saquon, me with Edwards-Helaire, Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, and then Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, my takeaway from that is number one, in a PPR league or a half-point PPR league, I think I'd rather have Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara over Derrick Henry. That's one. Two, Nick Chubb at the end of the first round is a steal. And
I just don't trust. I thought about taking him, but I didn't trust it because Kareem Hunt is still there and vultures a lot of those touchdowns away.
I don't think that's going to happen as much as you might think. I think Chubb is going to be the horse there.
And then just coming back, I was hoping this guy would fall to me, but Antonio Gibson was taken. Then Jonathan Taylor, the same guy who took Devontae Adams, then took Stephon Diggs.
It's a pretty good wide receiver duo.
And then Austin Eckler. And that guy's following pick was Mahomes, so he has Mahomes and Kelce. But he also went quarterback in the third round. Then then we had DeAndre Hopkins, then DK Metcalf, which I thought was early for DK. Then Joe Mixon, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift, Calvin Ridley.
Interesting. I will go over the ins and outs of my draft whenever it happens in a couple weeks. But how many people are in this league that you're in?
12.
Okay. So mine's either going to be 10 or 12. I don't know yet. So we'll figure that out. But we will definitely.
Shout out John for wanting a little fantasy football in there.
Right. We will talk fantasy football probably every week leading up to the season, and we'll do a big preview of the season the week before. But I guess since there's nothing in college hoops, we just transition to golf.
Yeah, the Wyndham Championship, the winner, our boy, Kevin Kisner.
Round of applause for Kiz, a big win for the brand, 4th win on tour, 6-man playoff.
Shot 15 under, $1.2 million purse.
And what a moment on the 6. It was a 6-way playoff, second hole of the playoff, and he sticks it to about 4 feet. What a shot. Club twirl, the whole thing. Great moment. Our boy Kiz taking care of business. I did pick him to finish top 10, which means that he finished top 10. So that is a check mark on the golf for me, finally. And the rest of it was a disaster, but Kiz saved me there.
Now starting tomorrow, we got the Northern Trust defending champion Dustin Johnson. This is at the Liberty National Golf Club in Jersey City, New Jersey.
This is a beautiful golf course. The Northern Trust rotates between TPC Boston and then Liberty National. And, This is an excellent, excellent course. I'm really excited to watch this. Obviously, the first of 3 tournaments for the FedEx Cup playoffs. So, a lot of money on the line here. A lot of Ryder Cup ramifications on the line. There's 2 guys that have qualified officially for the Ryder Cup for Team USA: Dustin Johnson and Colin Morikawa. Will be 4 more that qualify. Then there'll be captain's picks. So we'll talk about that in the coming weeks. But some feature groups in the Northern Trust. I believe this is based on FedEx Cup standings. Tomorrow, 8:04 a.m. Eastern, Hideki Matsuyama, Brooks Koepka, Cameron Smith. 8:26 a.m. Eastern, Colin Morikawa, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay. Those are the top 3 in the standings right now. 12:55 p.m. Eastern, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Sam Burns. And then 1:06 p.m. Eastern, Harris English, John Rahm, and Abraham Answer. So it should be a great tournament, and we'll make our picks later. And now we go.
John Rahm's the favorite.
He is. He's been the favorite a lot this year, and he should have more wins than he did because the Memorial he should have won, but he followed it up winning the U.S. Open. So, all right, Major League Baseball 2022 Field of Dreams game. We'll get into the one that happened recently momentarily. Cubs and Reds. Couple things. Who the hell wants to watch this game? I mean, the first one was great, but Cubs Reds with the Cubs roster being horrendous and the Reds not having a lot of buzz around most of their players, that's not great. It's not great.
And people were trying to say Cards Cubs, but
it should have.
The Cardinals were supposed to play there last year.
I thought it would be Cardinals Cubs. I'm shocked that it's not. Because at least you could sell a little bit of something. Like Nolan Arenado is a bigger star than either of the Reds or Cubs players at this point. Votto is like good, but old.
Yeah, I think that would have been better having Milwaukee Cardinals.
I think anything other than this matchup would have been better. I mean, I think honestly, Rockies Diamondbacks, because both teams are so bad it would be fun to watch.
But not like Cubs Mets or Indians Mets.
Those would be fine, but like with this one, it's like the Reds are going to kill them unless the Cubs find a way to fix their roster this winter. I mean, they're bad. They've lost 11 of 12. So they almost matched their franchise high losing streak, which was 14. They had lost 12 in a row. So, okay, the Mets are falling apart, by the way. 59-60. They have lost 5 straight games. They were in first place for months, and they have been horrendous. I mean, it was coming because they're second to last in Major League Baseball in run score, which is just terrible. I mean, I don't know how you stay in first place for that long, being 29th in run score.
Even when DeGrom was healthy, he couldn't get wins because they couldn't score.
And this year, they were winning more games with DeGrom than in the years past, which shows you how bad it was before. So Braves are in first place. Phillies are in second. So the NL East race, something to watch. Braves don't have Acuna, remember, out for the year. So if they can win the division with him, that'd be pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then I put, what a way to end the Field of Dreams game. Walk-off homer, Tim Anderson. Great game to watch.
It was. I mean, this is the type of event that it's going to be impossible to top the first time it happened, and it's not going to be as popular, but it'll still be pretty popular.
And we had this game picked. I doubled up on the White Sox.
I was afraid to do it. Yeah.
It was like 7-3, I believe.
7-4, I think.
I went and started cooking dinner in the kitchen. Next thing you know, I turn around and it's 7-7 or 8-7.
8-7 because
the Yankees are winning. I'm like, huh?
Yep, and they blew it pretty bad.
And then I just get to see Tim Anderson just pull one, see by.
Yeah, it was a big moment, great moment, good moment for baseball. They actually got something right, so big ups to them.
Yeah, I mean that was a game needed. I mean even they were saying that was better than watching an All-Star game.
Still got worse ratings in the Hall of Fame game, though, which is amazing to me.
The Cubs released Jake Arrieta.
And then he signed with the Padres. And then he pitched for the Padres today. He gave up 3 runs in the first inning. So he sucks. Let's just be honest. He's bad.
And then the Orioles' Chris Davis retires. Been battling injuries. And spring training hurt his hip. Next year would have been the final year of his 7-year, $161 million deal. But he had an agent. He had a Bobby Bonilla contract. He gets paid over $50 million through 2037.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think the owners do like to defer money into the future years, and players like it at times too. So
I mean, he
that's a
gets
tough one.
he gets 50 million over 16 years.
Pretty good, pretty good. I mean, I would retire too if I were him.
Yeah, especially I mean after 2 years ago when the bars around the stadiums were giving free shots when you got on base.
Yeah, he had that really long hitless streak that was pretty bad. His career just fell apart.
And then some great news. Tyler Gilbert becomes the fourth pitcher in history to throw a no-hitter in his first initial start. The first in 68 years. Last to do it was, I don't know if it's Bobo or Bobo Holloman of the St. Louis Browns on May 6, 1953.
Pretty cool. I mean, Tyler Gilbert's it wasn't even a real starter I think he's 27. He was kind of like a reliever type, and then he makes his first start and gets it done. I mean, against the Padres too, who are a pretty good team, even though they're kind of slipping right now in the standings, but pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, only for the fourth pitcher to do that in history and the first in 68 years.
Doesn't happen often. Probably not going to happen for a long time from now either.
No one, we wish this could have been a story for the local kid from a town 30 minutes from us, but he's getting shelled every start of the moment.
Did get his first win. But Astros, A's, Dodgers is not an easy way to start.
No. But the current top MLB teams, still the Giants up there. They've only lost one game since last week. They are 78-42.
I think they're 12-3 in August, so pretty good.
The Dodgers are in second at 74-46, and then you have the Rays at 73-47.
Teams holding steady.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been around those three. The White Sox would jump up there for a bit. Houston might jump up there for a week.
Yeah, the Giants, I mean, they might win 100 games, so I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't at the rate that they're at right now, so we'll see. Let's go to the NHL. The owners approve advertisements on jerseys in 2022-2023 season and beyond. It is a 3 by 3.5 inch patch. I think this comes down to COVID kind of. They need money. I don't think they ever would have done this if COVID didn't happen. So that's kind of – it's not that big of a deal either. I think people are going to make a bigger deal.
Everywhere else they have them, right? Like overseas.
Yeah,
they've got patches.
They do it to extremes there, but the NBA has one. I mean, it's just a little thing there. It could be worse. I mean,
does the AHL even do it?
I don't know if they do. Not sure. If they don't, they will, I'm sure, soon. So we'll see. Then this is kind of meaningless at this point. The Blues have expressed.
Did you just put this in there to kind of dig at me?
No, I was just throwing it out there because I knew that it's been something that has been talked about for a couple months. But I did see the article that came out today about it, even though I've known the entire time that they'd be interested. But there's limitations because I think he wants to stay on the East Coast, which is Zdeno Chara. Blues have interest in him per The Athletic. But there's like a 1% chance this happens. I think it would only happen if it got to the point where he was either going to have to not play or sign with the Blues because he wants to be on the East Coast, stay in the Eastern Conference. So I think a team that could come in and get him would be.
I mean, he might not want to move his family. His family could still live in the Boston area, and he just.
Yeah, I mean, he could do that, but
I mean, Washington wasn't far from Boston.
I think the Islanders would probably be, which is where he played before Boston, could be what happens with him. But we'll see.
I thought he came from Ottawa.
I think it was the Islanders. I'm certain that he was on the Islanders. I don't know if he went somewhere before Boston, but I'll check here.
He might have been drafted by Ottawa.
Yeah, he did end up in Ottawa. It was Islanders, Ottawa, Boston. So there was a gap there. Good one by you.
Look at that Bruins fan coming in, baby.
He had back-to-back years top 5 Norris before he got to Boston. So big deal.
We got the Predators signing goalie Zaros to a 4-year, $20 million deal.
Goalie's getting paid. He's going to be the starter. and they had to get it done.
Filling in some big shoes there, though.
Yeah, Pecorine was a legend, but Saros was pretty much the starter at the end.
No, I did. Pecorine still got some of the best stats in NHL history
Yeah,
at the goalie position. Save percentage, shutouts.
yeah.
The Wild re-signed forward Fiala to 1 year, $5.1 million deal.
Be interesting to see what happens with him next year. He'll be an RFA. I wonder if he's a guy that might get traded. Big piece for their offense, though, for sure. Kevin Fiala, good scorer. The next thing for the Wild is making sure they can get a Kaprizov deal done, which they wanted to do 7 or 8 years. He wants 4 or 5. The Wild have given up on the 7 or 8 years. They're going to try to get a 4 or 5 year deal done. I think they will. If not, it'd be a disgrace and a disaster for the league. So that's where Minnesota's going to focus.
Because that's what we talked about last week. You said he would go overseas, right?
He has a quote unquote tentative deal in the KHL if he can't get a deal with the Wild.
It was a big figure deal.
Yes, it was 8 figures.
And then lastly for the NHL, Leafs, Matthews has surgery out at least 6 weeks.
Yeah, he'll be back by training camp, and we'll see. We'll see if he can repeat last season and maybe win a playoff series this time. But it's going to be really hard in the Atlantic. The Atlantic is loaded. So,
on to college football.
Oh yeah,
we had the AP top 25 preseason rankings come out. At 1, of course, sitting up top is Alabama, 2 Oklahoma, 3 Clemson, which I think is a reach, 4 Ohio State, 5 Georgia, 6 Texas A&M, 7 Iowa State, 8 Cincinnati, 9 Notre Dame, 10 North Carolina, 11 Oregon, 12 Wisconsin, 13 Florida, 14 Miami, 15 USC, 16 LSU, 17 Indiana, 18 Iowa, 19 Penn State, 20 Washington, 21 Texas, 22 Coastal Carolina, 23 Louisiana Lafayette, 24 Utah, 25 Arizona State. You got 5 SEC teams, 5 Big Ten teams, 4 Big 12 teams, 5 Pac-12 teams, and 3 ACC teams.
Yeah, considering I haven't done a ton of research yet for college football season, I'm not really surprised by any of this. I mean, maybe the fact that the Big Ten has as many teams as the SEC, but I don't know who you're going to leave out there. I mean, I don't really disagree with anybody in there. The thing that I see here is Clemson. They really think that DJ Uiagalelei is going to be a good enough quarterback to fill the shoes of Lawrence, and I think he will be. But maybe Ohio State should be 3 and move into 4. But that's a small thing.
But I said I disagree with Clemson there. I think LSU is going to be they're underranked.
I also think Georgia should be a team that's better than 5, 4, 3, one of those. But yeah, I don't know.
But I think LSU at 16, they're underranked.
Oregon obviously underranked. They should be like 7 or 8. Everybody knows that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, the one quarterback got hurt for LSU?
Brennan, yeah.
Orgeron said they got 2 championship quarterbacks.
We'll see about that. I don't know, but we will. We'll probably do some conference odds picks for college football. We'll actually pick who we think will win the conference, who will win the national championship, and the playoff odds. We'll do all that the week before the season starts, which I think next Wednesdays would be the last one before, or the Wednesday after. So we'll do all that for college football, and then we'll obviously make weekly picks. There are betting picks when football season starts. I mean, we're going to be betting so many different things, making picks for. So it's going to get pretty crazy.
Speaking of betting, last week I went 4-1 in baseball.
Yeah, I went 1-4.
The only game I lost was the first on the White Sox. And in golf, I had Hideki Matsuyama. He was cut after the second round, 2 under. I had Louis O. He didn't even play,
I had him as well.
but I haven't found any articles or anything on why he didn't play.
He just withdrew. I don't really know why, but
I had Sung J.M., who was 11 under, tied 24th. My top 5 was Matthew Wolf. He was also cut. He was even. And then I had Brant Snedeker at my top 10, and he was cut at 4 over.
yeah. So I went 1-4 in the baseball picks. Golf,
Ooh.
I had Matsuyama cut. Fleetwood was tied for 65th and then lost his PGA Tour card. So not a good week for Tommy Fleetwood.
Why did he lose his card?
I think it had to be something based on rankings or something. He wasn't performing well enough. And I think Ricky Fowler might be next if he doesn't watch out. But Ricky Fowler was my other pick. He was cut. Oosthuizen withdrew, and then Kisner to finish top 10. He won. So finally get rewarded for picking Kiz. So I'm happy about that. But
So you went 2-4.
Yeah, 2-4. 79 and 61 overall.
I'm 76 and 67.
It's getting close. It's going to be right there for football season, so we'll see.
That's where I'll make up my ground.
We will see.
But who do you got this week for golf?
Well, I got 3 guys to win. Jordan Spieth plus 1,200, Patrick Cantlay plus 3,000, Harris English plus 4,000. Finished top 5, Brooks Koepka plus 400, and I'm going back to him, Kiz plus 550 to finish top 10.
I took Morikawa at plus 1,600, Rory at plus 2,000, and Brooks Koepka at plus 2,200. And my top 5 is Justin Thomas at plus 500. And my top 10 is Bryson DeChambeau at plus 250.
All right, Major League Baseball, tomorrow's games, Thursday. Give me the Rays minus 300 to continue to absolutely destroy the Orioles. Give me the Phillies minus 140 at the D-backs. The Royals plus 135 against the Astros. The White Sox minus 155 against the A's. And the Rangers plus 110 against the Mariners.
I took Detroit plus 110 over the Angels. The White Sox minus 140 over Oakland. Houston minus 190 over Kansas City. Miami plus 195 over the Reds. Big underdogs there. And then the Dodgers minus 240 over the Mets. Walker Buehler's pitching.
All right. We will see what goes down. And we'll be back for Sports Mashup number 26. And that will be the college football preview thing, I guess, because I believe the season starts the 28th. There are games. So we'll talk about all that next week. And we'll see you on the 25th. Sports Mashup number 26 will be then.
Deuces.